So, hi guys, sad news this weekend. We lost Adam West. He's been around. He's one of the greats of geekdom. He really embraced what it's all about. And I was lucky. I met the guy twice, and the first time I met him, I didn't meet him. He was at what was then MGM Studios, Disney MGM Studios. It's now Hollywood Studios. I think he's getting another name change. But anyway, and it had not been open long. And we were in Florida. I went in, and at that time, because it was the new park and they were promoting it and pushing it, they had celebrities coming in and doing like the handprints that you get in outside the Grauman's Chinese Theatre and on the and because they have the replica of Grauman's there. So he was in the car, drove down the waving at everybody and went and did his handprint, and it was for me at that age I was still a teenager, and it was great to see one of those people that it's Adam West, it's Batman. And we went back the day after, because the day after they had some guy called Mark Hamill. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but that's a different story. And the second time I met him, I many years later was at a convention in Florida again, and I'll be honest, he was charging quite a bit for autographs, but some people do. That's how it works. That's how they make their money, And yeah, and I don't really collect autographs because they only mean something to me, because sign and prove that it's Adam West, prove that it's whoever it is. So I didn't get his autograph, but I did go up and say hi. And I was just stood sort of, and he said hello, and he looked at me, and I've got a Batman t-shirt on, and he said, fellow citizen of Gotham, and he stood up and he shook my hand and sort of patted me on the arm, and it was just a moment, and he then sat down and gestured for the next person who was paying. But it was really nice. You know what I mean? And he just generally seemed like a nice guy. He really was, for me as a kid, he was Batman. I grew up at the time before the Batman that we have now in the movies, Michael Keaton and things like that, and that was Batman. And it's kind of weird because that version of Batman as a kid I loved. Then I got to be a teenager, and I suppose the Tim Burton films came along, and it changed my view of what Batman should be, and I walked away from that, and like everybody else did, oh, it's silly, that's not Batman because Batman's dark, and yeah, but they weren't available on DVD, Blu-ray, video cassette even for a very long time, and it was only recently I got hold of them. I had a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who got me them off the internet, and they were poor quality, but it was still fun to watch them. And a couple of years back, they put them out on Blu-ray, and I picked them up, and they are brilliant. They are so colourful, and I now watch them as an adult in a different way, because as a kid I watched it, the action, the adventure, the it's Batman. I now watch them. There's a great one, I can't remember the dialogue, but it's about politicians, and he makes this thing about you should never trust politicians, and looks at the camera with this look of, and it's brilliant. And that makes him such a great actor, because he was doing such kind of a silly part, but he brought such sincerity and warmth and brilliance to it. And I, as a Batman fan, and they'll never do it now, but even the animated series they did was brilliant. The little animated, if you get a chance to go out and get it. I always wanted them at the end of like the season, because they did the 3 seasons, which the first 2 were brilliant. The third one's terrible, really, but yeah. I always wanted at the end of like the season for him to go to Commissioner Gordon and say to him, Commissioner, really, I'm Bruce Wayne. And Bruce and Commissioner Gordon sort of look at him and go, but we all knew that, because every time, I mean, he's a police commissioner. Every time we phone Batman, we get through to Alfred. and Alfred is Bruce Wayne's butler and also Batman's butler. We've always known you give a lot of donations to charity, you know, to the policemen's funds, and you solve crimes. So yeah, we just ignored it. But we've always known. I'm a police commissioner. I don't get here because I'm an idiot. Yeah? And I just always thought that would be brilliant. Like I say, the little animated film that they've done, and they were supposed to be doing another one. I hope they finished it. Because I would really like to see that, because another one of the greats, William Shatner, is playing Two-Face in it. He's doing the voice of Two-Face. But yeah, that original Batman series will always have the warmest of places in my heart. And even I had to explain to my friend, I have a friend, and I've mentioned him on here a few times. He's really not geeky, but he loves Family Guy. And I said to him, you do know that the mayor is like Mayor Adam West. He's Mayor Adam West. He's Adam West. And he was like, well, who's Adam West? I went, oh, he's Batman. And he didn't understand it, so I showed him a few clips of him, and he was like, right, okay. And the great thing is that I met him that time, he was just as crazy as you think he is. And it was brilliant, and he enjoyed it, and he was so good with people, and he's really going to be missed. And that's life, yeah. We lost Roger Moore last week, well, a couple of weeks ago now. Now Adam West. And the strange thing is, Adam West was considered for James Bond at one time. I presume it was around the time of Roger Moore. That would have been a very interesting, because, yeah, very similar sort of acting styles in a way. But yeah, so rest in peace, Adam West. I will see you all later. Have a great night. Have a great week. I'll see you all soon.